Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Euroman Movie Report, the show where I talk about a movie I recently watched at my local movie theatre. This week I'm going to talk about The Equalizer Part 2. The Equalizer Part 2 is of course the follow-up to the 2014 Equalizer starring Denzel Washington, where he has the role of Robert McCall, a former Special Forces intelligence operative who lives a quiet life working at this store called Home Mart, but his skills from his former life is required because he runs into some bad guys, and when he chooses the path that in the end of that film, if some innocent folk they need some help, then he would like to help them using his special set of skills, to quote the Taken films, but I know it's not the same universe, but sorry. But anyway, this movie is of course a sequel to The Equalizer from 2014, and it picks up sometime after the events of the first film. Robert McCall is still helping people out. For instance, there's this young American woman who had her daughter kidnapped by her former husband, who has taken the child to Turkey, and the scene from the trailer where you see that in its complete form. But sadly, Sony did spoil 3 out of 4 major action set pieces from The Equalizer Part 2 in the trailers and pre-release clips, and that's a bit, in my opinion. But you see the train scene in its complete form, and Robert McCall, he really he has a special set of skills, and he returns the child to America. And meanwhile, as of course, again, what the trailer spoils, damn you Sony for spoiling almost the entire movie using the trailers, that some people are assassinated, like there's this guy in Belgium, and Robert McCall's former boss from the first film, played by, what was her name? One moment. Just have to look her up here. Equalizer 2. Yeah, we have the cast here. Played by Melissa Leo, who also played the same part in the first film. You've seen the trailer, and once again, that's spoiled as well. She's killed. She's killed by these 2 backpackers in her hotel room, who are later blown up by a bomb. And we get to meet Denzel Washington's, Robert McCall's former, military intelligence partner, played by Pedro Pascal, who doesn't speak like he did in Kingsman Part 2. And then that's one of my griefs with this film. And here's a spoiler, of course. It was too easy, in my opinion, to deduce that, and here's a spoiler, that Pedro Pascal's character was the main bad guy. They could have tried to hide that a bit more, in my opinion, but they didn't. And throughout the movie we see Robert McCall, Denzel Washington's character, show off his special set of skills, like beating up these 4 jackasses in a hotel room after they have raped this molested this young woman. A scene also spoiled in the trailers. And then stuff happens. Melissa Leo's character is of course, as I mentioned earlier, she's killed, and then Robert wants to avenge her. And then there's this subplot about this old guy played by Orson Bean, a former concentration camp survivor from World War II, who has this subplot about his sister, who he thinks he lost in World War II, and there's this painting of her that he has been trying to get back ever since. And then it's not a. In the first film, it was Chloe Moretz and Robert McCall tried to help to get out of the clutches of criminals, but now it's this other young man. It's this young man played by Ashton Sanders, who is a talented artist who lives in Robert's building, but he has been mixed up with criminals because they want to, initiate him into their gang, and then it's up to Robert to try to persuade him to stay out of that gang. And the Equalizer Part 2 has some impressive fight scenes, especially, as I said, the train scene and the scene in the hotel room, and then of course another scene which was also spoiled in the trailers, damn you Sony. It's the fight between the hitman and Denzel Washington's character in a car. That was one of the three major action scenes spoiled in the trailers. And then of course there's the ending of the film. You guys who have seen the original, or not to refer to as the original, because the original Equalizer was of course the 1980s television series which the first film from 2014 was based upon. But the first film with Denzel Washington, the end takes place where Denzel Washington's character works, this store which sells home appliances. Not home appliances. As the British would say, a DIY store. And in that scene, he eliminates the bad guys using his special set of skills. And in this film, the ending of the Equalizer Part 2 is an almost, rehash of the ending of the Equalizer Part 1, because Denzel Washington's character has to deal with some bad guys who are heavily armed, and that scene, in my opinion, is too similar to the ending of the Equalizer Part 1, so they, in my opinion, they should have come up with them all, thought out ending than something which was almost a copy of the ending of the first film. That said, it was an impressive set piece having Denzel Washington's character to fight these bad guys in the middle of a hurricane. So all in all, The Equalizer Part 2, is it a good film? Yeah, it's fairly decent entertainment. As I said throughout this video, it saddens me that Sony choose to spoil 3 out of 4 of the major action scenes from the movie in the trailers. But yeah, when you watch the first film back in 2014, and sorry for my stuttering, it was very impressive with the fight scenes and the story, etc. And they should have moved it up a notch for the sequel, but it wasn't like you said, wow, that was very awesome. But I guess maybe it's because the fight scenes were spoiled in the trailers that it took something of the wow factor for me when watching the film. But it's, as I said, it's a fairly good entertainment. The fight scenes are well choreographed, and Denzel Washington's character, he does a good job, and so does the previously mentioned actors as well. I don't know if they're gonna make a third Equalizer film, but if they do, Sony, please don't spoil the fight scenes in the trailers for that film, because it takes something away from the excitement that they spoil the major action set pieces in the trailers. But Antonio Fuqua, he did a fairly good job with this film here, so if I'm gonna rate it, I will give it 3 out of 5 stars. That's it, Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you liked this movie talk / movie review, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to my movie talks, you can click the bell icon in the bottom of the screen. But I will return next week with another movie review / movie talk Until then, have a pleasant weekend, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.